Good stuff, yes? Well done. Those of you who are guests, whether you're watching, from here live or from Madagascar, hello. People all around the world tune into our program. If you don't know the program well, you should know the lectures are always well rehearsed. So what would we talk about today? Yes?
So you spoke to me this week about the path that you always fall short and the path that you always succeed.
Okay. Anybody else?
Faith.
Pardon?
Faith.
Faith. Yeah.
I don't know if this is appropriate, Michael, but why does God allow such destruction to innocent people, like the tornadoes?
Okay. Yes?
Faith over fear.
Okay. Anybody else? Yes?
Come as you are.
Okay. Good. Thank you. So, let's see. So today we're going to talk about we are not in charge of our own holiness. Okay? We're not in charge of our own holiness. Thank God. Thank God. Imagine what it would be if we were in charge. I mean, think about this. I decided you're not likable. Because if you start to usurp God's opinion of us, the knowingness of who we are, then we start to have our own opinions. And if we have our own opinions, you have people walking around planet Earth saying right and wrong and so on and so on, which is what they're doing. So what will happen is if we think that we're in charge of our own status, then we start thinking we're in charge of other people's status. Right? So you have parents telling children, well, honey, you're not that bright. But you're pretty. You'll be the pretty one. And your sister will be the smart one. You see, you have people telling you things like that. Anything is possible for anyone because we're made in the image of God. We have bad days based on our opinions of what went wrong. But what went wrong according to what we already set up to be contrasted to what is right. Here's what my perfect day would look like. And that didn't hold up. I had a bad day then. You see? Like how weird. Just little control freaks. That's it. Just constant little megalomaniacs, control freaks. I'm sorry, you're loved, by the way. You are holiness, So if we let go and let God, what religion has often taught us is, and that may not go well, but we can't really know the will of God. They call it the mysteries of God. Well, honey, we might not be able to know. One question being, wouldn't things go wonky on this planet? Tornadoes and this and that. Jesus tells you, which doesn't make him sound like a great motivational speaker, by the way. Jesus says you will always have suffering. What? Aren't you the Messiah? Fix it. No. Heal yourselves is what he told the people who said, fix, 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 fix. Stop. Heal yourselves. What? Can you imagine how depressing that would have been to hear him say that? This is Jesus, like, oh, this is cool. We can milk this forever. He'll just do whatever we tell. Give us money. Manifest some gold, coins for us to pay our taxes and rent. Come on, fix me. Oh, it's true. I got a cold. Fix it. Oh, I broke a leg. Fix it. It's just totally, what a sweet ride that is. To have somebody who will fix everything. But he says, heal yourselves. He's not saying like something rude. He's saying, change your minds. Heal your minds. Start thinking divinely and these things wouldn't happen. That doesn't mean that when there's a tornado over there, they did something wrong. Remember, something tragic happened many years ago when there was a televangelist who said, well, those people deserved it because they lived sinful lives, right? This is how humans are. We try to brush off blame onto things and onto people. Why? Because that makes us feel more comfortable. See, if you can blame or shame other people, and what you're trying to do is, it's not me, you push them away. Thank God they're the ones that have tornadoes. After all, I've heard some weird things about people who live in the lower Tallahassee, or upper west side of LA. We have these segments and race, gender, all kinds of labels that we put on people. But there are no other people. The Sufi, one of the best, simplest statements and one of the wisest ever is, there's only one of us here. There's only one of us. Oh, what does that mean? That's so mystical. Wow. Get to understand what it means. There's only one. The children of God are actually one. They're one. That's not, oh, yeah, kind of cool and we're all one. No, it's factual. God only created one extension of itself called the children or child of God. Throws people off because, of course, in miracles we'll use child, singular. And the human brain has a hard time with that. But he's insistent on that. He doesn't say children, even though I will say children. I say it because I have to live with you people. No. I say children because it's a little more palatable. It's a little more acceptable. But technically, if he were standing here, he would say child. Every time Michael says children, child. He would do that to me. Because he's right. We're just not ready yet to understand. We are the child of God. Our brain's going, well, I'm looking at children. Use children because it's plural and we're plural. We're not plural. We just think so. So in our lives, we actually believe that there's this concept of another. Now, if we do a visualization and we say, okay, so think about somebody you'd like to do some healing with. Here's what happens. And it's beautiful to do. Absolutely. I'm going to do forgiveness today. There's this person, who kind of pushes my buttons. Person from the past, person present, or anticipated people. There's somebody that pushes my buttons. Now there's already a they. A you and a they. They push my buttons. Wait. Total one with God. How can something push your buttons? It really doesn't make any sense. You're this thing and it's like just nagging. For a holy child of God to be affected by someone who's kind of rude, even if it's an object, an addiction, or a lust for a nicer car, whatever it is, something seems to pull your attention off center. Whatever it is, how can it affect God? And if you believe something can affect God, like, for example, economy's a little low. Do you really think heaven is affected by that? If you believe that, that's fine. But it's a very sad statement because it affirms your life can't be that good. Because if the highest thing called heaven can be affected by earth economy, even higher beings of higher dimensions aren't affected by economy. There's no light beings in the star system of Sirius going, the planetary economy is really screwing things up here in Sirius. It just doesn't work there. If they're okay, there are people on earth that aren't affected by your conversations of what you watch on the news. So trust, heaven is not affected. It's beyond, it's not even comprehensible to the human mind what total God is. But we're made in God's image. So it's okay for you to say, this cold, this virus, this thing, this economy. But use words like, it seems to be having an effect on me today. Don't say it does. Because you're actually factually wrong, incorrect, to say that something has power over you. You're made in God's image, therefore nothing has power. But it's okay to say, God, sometimes I feel. Say it that way. It seems like or it feels like. Because that keeps it open that it's just how I'm feeling today. You're not saying it's factual forever. Very important. This seems to have a pull on me. Sometimes I feel so centered, and then all of a sudden something seems to. Say it that way, because that's true, lowercase t. The capital T is, it doesn't. It just seems like it. So the stuff of this world seems to have a pull on us, and it seems to pull us off center. It cannot rip heaven apart. So then how is it that if I'm made in God's image and I am actually in heaven right now, dreaming that I'm here, I cannot leave heaven because you can't leave what God is. There's no thing other than God. So you can't leave God because God and heaven are synonymous. Heaven's not a location, it's the consciousness of God. So you can't leave heaven. So then if I'm having a bad day, what's actually happening? Did the event in your life reach in to your soul and then reach up to you in heaven and rip you down to being an affected person today? That's how you feel. Could that actually happen? It's not possible. You know what really happened? I gave up my identity for a moment. I had to have been in the mood to lower myself to being a mortal that things can affect. You hear the difference there? It can't reach in and pull down your divinity. You are not in charge of your divinity. Thank God. God created us and said, you are made in my, and the words, perfect image. Not a little bit. One of you got 1%, one of you got a fraction of 1%, one of you got 13%, and so on. It's not like that. We walk around going, hey, I got 51% of God. The rest of y'all are really up the creek. No, every being of consciousness has 100% perfect image of God within them. So, is it true that we're victims, that things can reach in and pull us down? I'm saying it is not possible. I didn't say it doesn't feel like it at times. But it is not actually possible. Let yourself hear someone sharing that today so you can go, well, I'm going to contemplate that. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe you'll agree, maybe you won't. But just someone is saying that today. It's not possible. It does feel like it. What is possible is that I can pretend that I'm not that divine being. It can't be, you can't reach in and pull me down. I can pretend, however, that I'm not deserving. I can fabricate a judgment on myself. You know what? I'm part of this thing called the separation. This apparent, it's only apparent, which is that word appearance. It appears to be that we forgot our divinity. I'm one of them because we're together in this. And the child of God dropped into the earth plane. And as soon as we did that, we judge ourselves. Because now I'm not made in the perfect image of God. Now I'm a mere mortal. And if I'm a mortal, anything and everything can attack me. Viruses I can't even see. Think about how strangely schizophrenic and paranoid that is. Divine beings, suddenly mortals, walking around going, watch out. You better live in fear. Be afraid. Be very afraid. Why, Mommy? Well, children, gather around. There are things you can't even see that are going to kill you. Forget the ones you can see. I mean, the dogs you can run from that are wild, rabid dogs, and you got this and watch out. Then there's smaller ones. Really, Mommy? Oh, yeah. This one. You can get malaria. But I heard malaria is only for those people. Oh, no. One of those mosquitoes carrying malaria, it might hijack and get into a plane. It might go, into a plane and stay in the cargo hold. Just sitting there waiting for you. Just, waiting for the plane from India to arrive. And then it's coming out and it's like, I'm coming after you. I got malaria and I'm coming after you. And then there's things smaller and smaller and smaller. And then they're microscopic. And they're just waiting to find you, your nasal passage, to enter and just kill you. This is not God's will. This is man-made in more ways than one. Yeah. It's it's man-made. But you can't fix the things with the mind that created them. If we created these things with our lower consciousness, you can't actually manufacture cures, which is why you have strange commercials saying, if you take this and you have limbs, it could kill you. But I have limbs. Oh, I wouldn't take it then. It's so strange. If you have a skull, be careful because this could cause, and all these symptoms that the pills can give you. This isn't how you cure things. Recognize the reality is, I am one with God. Here's what seems to be. Isn't that kind of funny? Wow. So I probably shouldn't hold live electrical wires. Not because it really has an effect, but it can seem like it. So I'm going to go ahead and know the truth, but respect the illusion. I won't grab live electrical wires. And as a kid, you know, I used to be odd. Yeah, thank God I got over that. But I was so clear about this as a kid, adolescence and so on. I was like, nothing can actually harm us. You know, I never ate normal, never did things normal. I was like, it's all an illusion. I got that. I remember, and kids don't try this at home, but I remember rubbing alcohol and gulp, you know, because I knew, and it never affected me. Things just never affected me, for the most part. But I did have moments where I said, wow, these 9 things didn't affect me, and I proved it to myself and or others, which was just silly to do. But still, there would be one would go, like, wow, I found something that, oh yeah. You know, I told this story once before, but, you know, like when I was married, you know, she had vitamins and all these kinds of things, and she would leave some sitting around they would turn color because they would get so old. And I was like, well, you can't waste them. And I'd take them. And it never affects. She's like, you shouldn't be taking old vitamins. I'm like, you shouldn't be leaving them out. So you should put a child protection thing on it so I can't reach them. So, you know, but the one time, I mean, I've shared it before, so I won't go into detail. But one time, man, because she had sleeping problems, and she had these like rhino tranquilizers. And I'm like, found them in my backpack or whatever. And I took them, and I swear, I was on a flight, and it was like, you know, I mean, I was affected. My point is, occasionally I found I'm affected. So what do? Say that my experiment to believe that we're made in the image of God is a complete failure? No. It's just to recognize that the truth is I'm one with God. But if I'm here, I also need to respect the illusion. That doesn't mean I need to respect it to your level of respect, nor you to mine. What is okay for me? And I learned it's okay to have a divorce. It's not a failure. It is what it is. It's okay to get a coat on if you're cold. But these things don't typically come to my mind. You know, how I do things and how I think things. But if Jesus himself manifests in the world, or some other being you think of as a great being, if they appear in the world and they really do have nothing affects them at all, and they really, really prove it, what happens in the mortal mind is they seem too far removed. And now we can't live up to it because that's them. And that's what people did with Jesus. Yeah, but that's Jesus. Jesus wept and he felt pain. He did what he did not to say, well, look how cool I can do this. You're not going to be able to do that. And then you're going to think, like religions, they go, yeah, but that's Jesus. That's a rare case. They're missing. They don't get what he did. He's saying, I came in and suffered to show you. You can still survive suffering. I didn't show you how I don't suffer. How would that have been a good teacher? I know what 1,000 trillion times 40 billion is without even thinking about it. I know. But how's that going to help you? So he knows everything, but he has to allow himself to still be right here and have a body that bleeds when it gets punctured. Why? Because he's saying, there's a way to be in the world and not of the world. I'm not showing you how to be beyond the world. I'm not trying to show you like this complete surreal experience. Look how Jesus just floats. He doesn't even get dust on his feet. He washes his feet the same as everybody else. And he bled and he cried. This is an example of how we can be in the world and not of the world. Stuff will happen. And this, when I mentioned that, he's not a great motivational speaker. What I was saying is, he was saying, you will have suffering in this world. Well, yeah, but shouldn't we be able to fix it? Can't we? What if we think of, and what if there's enough money somebody has? They'll fix it. This world, Buddha puts it, is one of suffering. You mean until we fix it? You cannot fix this world as you know this world. You reach a level of awareness to where it does not affect you. And when that happens, and enough of us that happens, the world will disappear. You will not actually fix it and have a great world. As soon as you heal your mind, you'll see no world. And the world you would see would be a fifth dimensional world. So it's not going to have the density and the problems with density. There won't be illness. You mean after we have enough prescribed things? No. You mean if we come up with a perfect pill? No. It's not how it works. What if cryogenic, everybody just freezes and then somebody stays alive and, lives, life after life, just stays awake and comes up with a cure to everything, like your Highlander or whatever, and just stay immortal and then they fix everybody? No. While we're here in the mud, in the dirt, it's not God fix the world so we can be happier. God's saying, no, you become happier first. Well, we would be if only what? Now, as soon as you say if only, you're not in your divinity. Because if only means if only something outside would repair my inside. There is no outside. It's a hologram. And it's not only a hologram, it's a hologram of your beliefs. So correct your beliefs. What beliefs? That you're a divine being. Well, I am divine. It's these people that are screwed up. Oh, you don't get it. You're only one. What do you mean we're one? Oh, I get philosophical. Okay, we're all one. No, you still don't get it. Who's bothering you today? Well, Joe over there. Joe. Why? Well, because they did this and this and this and this. Do you know that Joe's not there? They're a hologram of your beliefs mirrored to you so you can learn to release Joe? Yeah, but you don't know what Joe did. No, I do know. No, I have a list of several things. In fact, I went around the neighborhood and collected signatures so we all agree he's an idiot. This isn't just me. We try that. God, this isn't just me. We all agree that, Joe. Well, you're never going to get an approval, a stamp of approval from God on that, which makes us resent God, that it doesn't agree with our judgments. How dare God say? Because I've had people say, I know what you're going to tell me. I got to forgive them, people that call for sessions. Michael, I've got this and this. And then they assume that I'm going to say, don't say that. Those are naughty words. La, 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 la. I'm not going to listen to any. They think that's what I'm going to do. Or then I'm going to be like, or they cuss and they'll go, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, oof, and I'll add my own. Because it's okay. And they say, I know I'm supposed to forgive. I say, wait. Are you upset? Yes. Are you kind of hurt? Yes. You feeling angry? Okay, great. Then let's do that right now. Allow that initial feeling. Allow it. I'm not talking about enabling it, like make it your power over you. I'm talking about just go ahead. Go ahead. Oh my God, yeah. What did they do? You're kidding me. Oh my God, what a nut. Go ahead and support them in that for a moment so that they can go, thank you. The only people I've ever talked to about this told me I was wrong for feeling this. That's not going to help somebody heal. Are they incorrect to judge that someone else had power over them? Yeah. Is that how you'll help them? By making them know that? No. First, they need to be heard. As soon as they're heard, there's this decompression. See, there's like a breaking free a bit. That's why a lot of times when you allow people to express hurts and angers, underneath that pressure cooker lid comes tears. I love that. I love when somebody goes, never, I'll never forgive them. And they talk and they, good, excellent. Beat on a pillow, talk, whatever I'm going to have them do. And then, boom, crying. I just don't understand why. How did this happen? And here come the tears. That's cool. You can't heal with the pressure cooker locked down. You can't. You got to get the pressure out. I would never unscrew a radiator cap while it's boiling. You might be able to flip a little thing that allows decompression. Allow yourself to decompress. It's really important. And again, I'm not talking about enabling or making true your hurts and hates, but get them out anyway. Talk about them. As guttural as you like. Get it out. Afterwards, there's a certain, wow. You're shaking and quivering and sometimes crying. And God, that's just beautiful. We got to all that. The water that became boiling. But the boiling is a symptom. Underneath it, that's a water boiling is that there's water. Water's emotion. Wow, okay, and what happened? Well, there's this issue with the engine and it caused the water to boil. Meaning, there's this person and they did this. I'm really sorry to hear that. So we can go to now a deeper emotional, I'm really sorry that that happened. Because I am sorry that that happened. It is very sad. Oh, but don't you read A Course in Miracles? Isn't it an illusion? I'm not going there right now. Just hear that I'm sorry that that happened. Take my hand. Why? I'm not even existent. I don't have a body. Why would you take my hand? Why would you hold me or hug me? Why would you hand me a tissue to wipe my eyes from my tears? It's all an illusion. See, that's impractical. Just relax, man. Relax. Here's what's happening right in here, right in this moment. You'll never get to the now moment of God if you can't work on the seeming moments of our stuff. We are not in charge of our own divinity. And as I said a few times already, and I will repeat again, thank God. We're not in charge of that. God created us divine. And what we're doing as spiritual path people, mystics, is we're getting there, guys. We're almost there. Just one more this, one more that, just 10 more lifetimes. I know I'm going to be enlightened in 10 more lifetimes. That affirms that you're not already.
Yes.
So this is the twist. This is the twist that we didn't expect in spiritual growth. It's the twist, which is, I'm already divine. Not the me that seems to be in the world. Not the one that thinks people have power. That's not my divinity. It's also not my divinity that does hurtful, selfish things. So it's a paradox, it's called. I am divine, but I don't always feel that way. I don't always act like it, and I don't always receive things in this world like it. See that? But I am divine. Nothing can change that. Knowing that I'm divine is kind of cool because if I allow my crying, if I allow my angst, but keep in mind, this doesn't change. My divinity up here doesn't change, even though I experience whatever here. What starts to happen is the veil between the two starts to thin. The light of God shines down in my life more often, and I not as often do the hurts and receive the hurts. We keep trying to fix ourselves, which is a subtle form of arrogance. It acts as though I know the problem and I know the solution. Really? Oh, aren't you brilliant? Well, if you know what's wrong with you and the cure, the solution, why are you still here? And why did you do any of this in the first place? You can't fix yourself, not with the consciousness that keeps you here. And there's a key, and it's called forgiveness. I've shared this before, but I'll say it again. A Course in Miracles is going to tell you, even though you think, okay, reading forgiveness and watch resentments and thousands of pages, man. There's a lot of pages there. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pages. Thousands of words, hundreds of thousands of words. And you get through the book and people actually start, okay, God and my affirmations. I got to remember to do my daily lessons and I'm going to read this, but I am as God created me and so on. And you do all this and you still actually didn't understand. We thought A Course in Miracles was telling us how to be more spiritual. And it does seem to do that. But it's actually telling you how you'll never be. You're not going to be capable of accomplishing this. Well, then why read it? Because it's telling you to forgive yourself for not being able to pull it off. That's what it's doing. It's kind of like, see that? You like it? It's cool, huh? Look at this page. Oh, that's enlightening. Wow, look at that. Wow, wow, wow. Would you like to embody that? Yes. You're not going to be able to. What this book told you to do is forgive yourself. I could do that without the book. Yeah, but nothing irritates you as much as this book. This one will really push your buttons. Every page will tell you something else that you're not going to be able to pull off. Now, I say it with levity like that. It doesn't mean that the book is a waste. Read it and do your best to live it. I didn't say don't live it. I said you're still going to slip. But if you're not forgiving yourself, you're not getting the book. It's not about external behavior modification. It isn't. It isn't about, okay, so A Course in Miracles is saying, do you really think that pieces of glass improve your eyesight? I mean, he makes fun of it. Do you really think little discs of coin empower you to be abundant and prosperous? Really? Paper? Paper you can light up, it'll be gone in seconds. And that's your power? It does make fun of these notions. Do you really think pills cure your body that you don't even have? He does here and there make fun of such things. But he's doing that not to humiliate what you think you're doing. He's doing it to show you what you haven't gotten yet. You're beyond any of that. So don't not take the pills, because that says it in there too. Play the game. You must, until the day where suddenly you have a complete knowingness that you don't need it any longer. And I have some of you, you call for session and you say, Michael, I believe in my Christ self. I'm going to go off my schizophrenic medication. You're not going to hear me say, absolutely. You're not going to hear it ever. At most, I'm going to say, keep taking what you're taking, keep doing your spiritual work, and you're going to notice probably that you don't need it as much. Let it become an organic process where there's a knowingness. Do you think I'm going to stop there? No, I'm going to say, and get your second opinion. Make sure your doctor agrees. I know that sounds weird for some people because we know medicine's a little out there and it's a financial scam in some ways. But I'm saying there's a point where you just know. Like someone dear to me was bipolar, struggled with that all their lives. And I mean, they got, I'm going to get foot reflexology, and I'm going to get massage, I'm going to get this, I'm going to take this organic pill instead of meds. They did this, they went through major dark night with dealing with the fact that they had bipolar disorder. But they did all that. Was it a waste? No. It contributed at the time to give you a support, like crutches or a cast. It's good to take those things and take care of the world stuff. But in the meantime, healing, working on her inner self, working on inner child and breath work and the inner work. And it came to a point she doesn't take anything anymore, which is sacrilegious to the world of medicine and psychiatry. I don't care. She doesn't take anything. Hasn't in years. Still has some lows. Still has some highs. They don't cripple her anymore. All human beings can have highs and lows. Well, not me, really. When you win the lottery, you're going to be on a high, I promise. And if somebody steals all the money the next day, you're going to hit low. It's going to happen, whether it's sugar rushes and things that, people talk about. This world it's going to seem to have its little day, its little stuff. We just become more and more immune, not through discipline. That's what religion, even Far East religions, did this as a discipline. You make yourself know that just hold your center and never react. That's mental power. That's not knowingness of God. Mind power can do things. There's people, like Jesus says in A Course in Miracles, people can lay on a bed of nails and show that the body isn't real. He says that will work. You can devote, lifetimes, if not tens of years, to this is an illusion. So they won't eat and they lie in a bed of nails. And he's saying, that will work. Oh, well, thank you, Jesus. He says, but guess what? That's a waste of time. Really? That's all you accomplished is all this mental power so you could lay on a bed of nails? Really? The story of Buddha, when they say to Buddha, Siddhartha, Master, we're following you and we fast and Om Mani Padme. We do all these things to be enlightened like you. And they go, but we heard there's another master right around the lake over here, the other side. He's able to walk on water. And Buddha says, that's foolish. He could have paid 2 pennies and taken the ferry. What he's saying is he put all that mind energy into walking on water, but he doesn't know how to deal with his problems. Put consciousness into this. How you think, how you feel, how you react. Great, if you can walk on water after that, great. But if all you focus on is the phenomena, the walking on water, that you won't need the meds, it's kind of a waste of time. It's impressive to your friends, I know. But we still don't like you. You're still unlikable. So something's not right. So you're walking on water. Look at the guy we don't like walking on water. You're still not likable. You still are hurtful and rude and selfish. Work on this and become a better person. A Course in Miracles summarizes itself towards the end of the book. And it says, the bottom line is, it comes down to, are you a better person? How can I be helpful? Truly, it uses the word truly. How can I be truly helpful? That's what it comes down to. How can I be truly helpful today? Now, that doesn't mean you just have to run and rescue people. Helpful doesn't just mean clearly the outside. Believe it or not, how I can be helpful today starts inside. And it would be that you see a person who's acting out, how can I be helpful? Well, go and restrain them, sure. But you know what also is helpful? For me to start working on my triggers about people like that, healing my beliefs about and my judgments about people like that. I'm healing on the inside. That's actually healing their consciousness, not their behavior. So you can go and restrain them, but did you restrain your judgments on them? Get the inside first. Always get the inside first. So I'm looking at your questions that you asked, and it's kind of addressed all of those. But faith and faith over fear. When we really know who we are, nothing has the same effect. It's true. It's really, really true on every level. Foods, but that doesn't mean you should eat foods you're allergic to prove it. Just work on your consciousness. Keep working. And when I say working on your consciousness, don't work to get somewhere. Affirm you're there and then do your work. I didn't say there's no work involved, but it's called light work for a reason. Because it's working the light. It's not working the fear. I got to work on all my darkness. I'm going to go wrestle with it. Just turn on the light switch. You know, like you walk into a dark room. What are you going to do? Seriously, what are you going to do? You walk into a room, like this sanctuary, let's say in the middle of the night, you come over to do some work or whatever, and you come in and it's pitch black. You know, there's not a way for a lot of light to come through. Oh my God, it's pitch black. What you're going to do is you're going to walk in. Okay, darkness, I'm not afraid of you, as you're shivering. You know, and you start making it into a power. And I just know that my ex is in here somewhere, hiding under any chair to trip me when I walk by. This is how people think. Their consciousness works. That's why we have, you know, sometimes unpleasant dreams, because it haunts us at night even. Where's God in all of this? Turn on a light switch. What was I afraid of? Don't pretend you weren't afraid, but look at it. That's the work part. Don't be afraid. You're okay. You're in the hands of God. The greatest thing, they say the greatest phobia is the fear of death. And some people go, well, I'm not afraid of death. It isn't the proving that you're not afraid of death that makes you the great person. It's how you live. I'm also not afraid to die, but while I'm here, I'm going to show how passionate I am about living. See, people made rituals and they made behaviors part of the spiritual path. Look at me, lying on a bed of nails. Like, you know, wow, didn't you hear about the new Posturepedic kind of, you know, they're really comfortable. They're really comfortable. You feel like you're floating. And then you can kind of do amazing spiritual work because you're not like, you know, you're distracted with pain. It's okay to float. And it's okay to have enough money to pay your bills with no problem. You don't have to prove that, you know, because now you're just being the nun and the priest. Look at me, Lord, not a dime to my name, showing my faith in you. God's like, I have nothing to do with your craziness, man. If you're one with me, am I or am I not abundant? God, you know, you are, and you're made in my image. Yes, so why are you broke? Allow it. Allow it to come through. Okay, I'm going to start doing all kinds of things to become more prosperous. Now you've made prosperity a god. Work on you and your love and your relaxation of consciousness. The ease of judging yourself. Then prosperity starts to pour in, and it'll trigger you when it does, because you'll have thoughts of, is there something wrong? Is this okay for me to have prosperity? And yes, when you manifest somebody in your life, when they say, so how you doing? I'm great, you know, and they see you have hundreds of dollars of bills, you know, in your purse or whatever. They judge you for it. They find out you've got money in the bank. Oh, you're one of them. You're like, you know, there was books called Medicine Woman. Remember that? Yeah. Medicine Woman. What other titles did they have? It was a series of books, but Medicine Woman, all these other women empowerment titles. But you went BMW Woman on us, you know Mercedes Woman. Like they start making fun of you for having prosperity. Or if you're not sick, this is not okay. You should believe in the same sickness I believe in. And you should be doing all the things that I think you should be doing to be healthy. How strange this world is. Don't be surprised when the world attacks you for having your act together. In any category. If you're a race Native American, let's say, and you say, you know what, clearly the Native Americans were mishandled, and dealt with in a hurtful way in history and maybe today too. But if you're a Native American, you say, I don't even care. I'm good. I'm centered in. They'll wrong you for that. You have to be angry. You poor thing, you're in denial. If you have an ex-husband or wife and you're like, we're at peace, they think you're in denial. So this world's going to do that. But we're all one. There's only one of us here. So who is it that's doing that? Well, my family members and the nation and the president. And stop. There's only one of us. These people, with all their rudeness, are mirroring your doubts. If I were you, I would deal with them as though they're my doubts. And it's still okay to say, get behind me, Satan. I want nothing to do with what you're telling me. But you do that only, and you miss the mark. Get it here. Oh my God, this is brilliant. Oh God, thank you. I sit down and pray and I go, God, guess what happened today? I was really feeling peace with my ex, and then someone who knows them showed up in my life and said, weren't you married to that nutcase? Yes, I was. I dated them in high school. Oh my God, they were so crazy and out of control. What a nut. And oh my God, you poor thing. And you start going, yeah, exactly. Poor me. And you start buying it. That's not the healing route. The healing route would be to go, God, this is what they said. And I started going, yeah. And I started gritting my teeth. And I started feeling, yeah, I should call them. And I saw it. And who was it? That person was telling me, those are little residual pieces of me that I don't want to believe I have. Because I'm so spiritual. I know I forgave my ex. Except for that one or two incidents. So you start to go, it's just one of us here. That's why Jesus said to Peter, get behind me, Satan. What he was saying is, this is all me. I'm doubting. In that moment, Jesus was saying, I'm afraid. Because Peter said, hey, call me silly, call me a travel agent. But if you're telling me, your apostles, that if you go to Jerusalem, they're going to kill you, I have a great idea. Hold on, Jesus, let me pendulum and muscle test it. Yep. Don't go to Jerusalem. I mean, isn't that common sense? And how does Jesus respond? Does he say, great idea. Schedule me for a boat somewhere else. I'll go to the south of France. This will be great. Suntan, kind of cool. No. He responds to a person who seemingly is looking out for his health. Don't go. Get behind me, Satan. People don't understand. Like, that's weird. What he was saying is, I know that I need to go do this. Well, don't. That's the voice of my fear talking. Get out of the way. I'm going. That's what he was doing. And all of us have that. I'm setting an intention to forgive so-and-so and so-and-so. And somebody says, oh, I wouldn't forgive them. That's unforgivable. God, that's how tenacious I'm being about this. I want to forgive, but a part of me doesn't, which is manifested as you. Do I hate you for it? How could I do that? You're me. You're just my doubts. Beware of this, though. That when someone says, you shouldn't forgive them and so on, and you go, no, I'm going to forgive. Be careful that word forgive, because a lot of people think that saying it means it's done. It's a process. Today, you're bringing up things that they did that made me angry. I got through it. I said, no way. I see it, God. Apparently I had some anger hidden here. How do I know? Because they mirrored it to me. So I see the anger. I'm giving it to you. What I really want is peace. How do you know you're really doing this right? If you can wish peace for the other person, you're probably in the right place. If you say, I just want peace, unlike what they gave me, and they, then you know you're not really right on. You'll know you're healing when you can wish upon the people that have hurt you all the things you're asking of God. That's not usually how we pray. We usually pray as in it's the enemy. Give me a good life as opposed to what the enemy has done. Which is very normal human hurt talking. And I'm sorry that happened. I'm just telling you that as we heal, we start to say this. Do you realize that if the person who harmed you had peace, they would have never done what they did to you? So hoping they never find peace, hoping they burn in hell, as people say, would actually not give them the cure, would it? Do you know that if they reincarnate and they don't have peace, they're going to do it to someone else? Are you okay with that? Well, yeah, as long as it's not me. It'll be you. It'll be you. And you'll live with them twice as long as you did last time. You see, when you wish upon them the peace that you're calling on. And I know we say, but they don't deserve it after what they did. They did it because nobody wished them peace before that. Perpetuate, which is Jesus calling, careful, don't feed evil with evil. Don't replace hate for hate. Resist not evil. If people felt the presence of God, they wouldn't do what they did. Do we agree? Yes. Therefore, give them the peace of God and you're clear. But so are they. You're preventing them from hurting anyone else. How could that not be worthwhile? Because I want them to suffer for what they did. They are suffering. That's why they did what they did. They're already suffering. They're in pain. And it's no different than a lifeguard being taught. When you swim out to somebody who's drowning, they will push you under to get air. It's not like they're going, you seem like an unlikable person. They're not judging who you are. They're not intending to cause harm. It's a visceral reaction. I can't breathe, and they grab something and you're it. It's the same with people that have harmed you. They can't breathe, they're suffering, and they're grabbing whatever they can to survive. Is it okay? No. Is it righteous? No. Is it moral? No. Is it legal? No. How much more support do you need before you can say, but I get it. Lashing out for survival, I was there. And I have an idea. Maybe if I heal, they won't go, oh, look, a buoy to use for me to get air for an extra minute. A victim for them, because they're the prey and here you are, like looking like, easy bait or whatever. As I heal, they're going to say, that's not a person I can get away with that. So all of that immunity comes from us knowing who we really are. But remember, ask the Mother, ask the Holy Spirit, ask God to remind you who you really are. Don't try to just figure it out on your own. Don't try to just affirm it because it sounds really cool. I heard that, us women, we're goddesses, and us guys, we're gods, and this kind of thing. It doesn't work just to change your name into something more holy. We have to actually get it. When you change your name, when God told Abraham to change his name from, Abram to, which meant a Brahmin, it meant a master of a certain faith or tradition. When he changed it to Abraham, it wasn't like, because that's what you are, it's this is where you're going. So if you change your name, as people do in New Age traditions and in, Sedona, so you change your name to Running Flower, or whatever. I don't know why a flower would be running, but you change your name to Running Flower. Be advised. The universe is going to hold you to that. I'm going to change my name to, Beauty. The universe is going to hold you to that. Because a name is equated with your identity. And if you claim an identity, the universe says, and? How are you doing with that? If it's contrasted, the universe will reflect things like you being beat up by that concept. Called on it. When we create a center, a unity of, we talk about Christ consciousness, we're going to be held to the fire on that. Okay? This is how life is. I know as myself, as a teacher, traveling and teaching all the time, it was kind of easy to just hold presence with the stuff that I teach. I mean, generally speaking, I believe in this, I know this, so I teach it and I act it. And, generally it was pretty easy. Sitting in one place for the last 11 or whatever years of my life, that's when it had to get tested to a different level. It's like Spirit going, are you living that, Michael? Yes, actually. And I go and I move and I got used to living the Christ life on the road, and it's pretty cool. Then Spirit says, okay, let's try when you're sitting still with the same people. Generally it's just a figure of speech, but with this, how are you going to handle that? And that was a different level of test. But it not only taught me how to deal with their stuff, the seeming they, but also how to hold it in here to a different level. Meaning, if someone out there that's reflecting a negative thought that's a test in here, clear that, but also hold your ground. Tell some people, leave. And that's what we have to do. You're not a failure to say leave. If you allow people to stay too long hurtfully in your life, believe it or not, you are doing something that is against God's will. Who do you think you are? Well, I just thought that if I, and more patient and forgiveness, you're being harmed in the meantime. Jesus said, when someone asks for your coat, give him your shirt as well. But he adds in the course, never did that mean to the point of hurting yourself or anyone else. Now you're talking about rescuing. Saying no to somebody is a healthy boundary. And boundaries come from who you believe you are. If I don't know who I am, I lack boundaries. Lacking boundaries doesn't just mean people pounce on you. It's also when you invade their space. And you draw a line. And that's not always easy to live this, guys. We're going to come to a close now, but it's not always easy to live this. It's just because this world is a contrast to heaven. Everything, heaven is bliss. This world is all about irritation. Not bliss, irritation, inflammation. God. People's comments and the way they drive and they cut you off on the road. And, in the meantime, I'm learning to handle the people on the road. But my bones are starting to rub together and it's causing inflammation in my wrists, And then, I put some special ointment. But I got kids. Oh, my God. There's an irritation for some people. And I got parents that are still alive. There's an irritation. There's stuff in this world. Or family is blissful, but the people at work don't respect me. This world is a place of irritation because it was created out of the belief that we are not as God created us to be. You see what I mean? The outside is a manifestation of the inside. Somewhere inside we changed God's reality. We think we did. We manufactured another reality. In God we go, I am, as God created me. Then we went through a veil into this world and said, oh, bloody hell. Where am I? What is this? Ouch. That's why Genesis tells you, now that you've bitten the apple from the tree, meaning you bit into the illusion, he says, now. The voice tells Adam and Eve, which is us, now you're going to feel pain, and you never felt pain before. Now you're going to only earn by the sweat of the brow. You know what that means? You have to work to get anything. That didn't have to happen before. You know why? Because we just think it, and it is. This is like, wow. This is like amazing. For me, it'd be like, oh, cheesecake. Eat the cheese. Like, it's great. That's not how this world turned out. This world turned out like, oh, I'm going to have to make cheesecake, eat it, then go for a run to work off the pounds or whatever you gain from cheesecake. This world, you have to earn it. That is not God's reality. But it feels like that's where we are. So what I'm going to do is keep using my mind to create, but I'll also get my hands in because I know I'm not totally in remembrance yet. So it's called responsibility. I'll go ahead and use my consciousness, but I'll also get my checkbook register out and make sure I balance my checkbook. There's nothing wrong with that if I know what I'm really doing, playing the game. Right? So Adam and Eve, now he says, you're going to feel pain. Woman, now you're going to have labor pains. You used to be able to create even children in your consciousness. Anybody could. Because we were in our God self, we could think to create a being. I feel so much love. God, I would love to extend that to others. Boom, a child manifests. Right? There's no, I was kind of hot for you last night. Now we're pregnant. Now we have an accident for a kid. That's not how life was. That's not supposed to be the way it is. But people forgot who they are. So the kids are born and sometimes they're there pushing the buttons because you weren't in a holy mind when you created them. So they're like, guess what? I'm your unholiness. And if you can't see it now, I'll let you know when I fill up my diaper. Or when I get bad grades. Or when whatever else it could be, when I grow older. Then, all these things that are going to be real human that you're going to have to deal with. I'm going to bring this all to you because you forgot who you are. And we blame them. The kids don't respect me like they should after all I've done for them. They're just mirroring. So the whole world is a mirror. And it's telling you, guys, everything you experience is either how much you remember who you are or forget. What's the opposite of forgetting? Forgiving. That's how you get back to the one, the one option. how much I know who I am. So when you have a moment in a day where you're just doing cooking and all of a sudden you just feel, God, I feel really happy. What you're feeling is the effect, which I call a gift. The gift of having remembered who you are. I don't know when you remembered, and you don't need to care. Could have been a second ago, could have been 8 lifetimes ago. But every good thing, every gift that comes to you is earned. Not by the sweat of the brow. It's earned by you allowing who you really are to light inside. How do I know when I'm doing the opposite? When I'm irritated, when I'm, reactive, and when I'm, why would you be reactive? Because you think that if someone didn't fill your gas tank like they were supposed to and you asked them to, that you think you now are going to run out of gas. You think you don't have time to do it yourself. Those are all opinions. When you go, but I'm worried and I don't have time. And you get into God, it's amazing how things happen. You get in the car and you start it and you realize, oh, there's more in the tank than you thought. Or that you had extra 10 minutes on the way to work. Something will happen. Those are called miracles. So the miracles are the restorations. When we go from what we, could have been true in God, what we thought we were that brought a negative effect, you neutralize the negative effect when you bring God back into the picture. The knowingness of who we are. We pray and say, God, fix the negatives. God's saying, just come back to who you are. Come back. Yeah, but I've got problems. I know. Come back and watch how they fall. Just they'll part ways. It doesn't always happen the way you want and when you want, which is going to irritate you again, which will take you off again. See that too. And come back. I close with this concept, something you've heard me say now and again. God does not have conversations with you the way you think it does. The creator, the true creator God, does not actually deal with minutia and doesn't have the conversations you think it's having. God is only capable of saying, I love you, come home. Once you're home, it's just, I love you. The only reason it says come home is because it knows its children have forgotten who they are and forgotten that they are home. So get your mind wrapped around the idea that there's a creator that says only, I love you. You're not allowing that to be enough means you don't have enough money in the bank account and so on, and you have illness. Well, what does that have to do with God loving us? Because love actually fills everything. Love takes the form of everything you could need, which is where we get the translation of Jesus saying, just pray. God knows what you want before you need it. Before you even, state the prayers. God already knows. That doesn't mean God knows you need fuel in your tank. God knows you need love. Just remember, not that you receive or that you need love, that you are love. When you know who you are, which is love and God, they're synonymous, then all of a sudden, the tank fills on its own. Well, that's not actually possible. What do you mean? You're thinking there's a limit on love? No, I know, but not really. It's not like the fuel molecules are going to multiply. See, you're back to not remembering who you are. If women could give birth at one time without conception, how is it you can't believe the molecules of your fuel tank won't be able to multiply and you'll have fuel when you need it? How is it you can't believe you can forgive someone that did something seemingly unforgivable? You pulled it off. That's called a miracle. Trust that love is something humans do not understand. It has nothing to do with flowers once a year for somebody or candy or whatever. It's, you want to love somebody, remember those, I love you. I that loves you is the God I am. I love, meaning I'm choosing to remember love, and you are also me. So when God says, I love you, it's for real, because it's God that is I, love, which is totality of love, you, which is everyone. If I'm to be as God, I have to come back to I love you, not, hey, I like you, I love you. I'm loving your legs, wow. I love your look. It's, whew. And remember last week how I said, Jesus talking to that woman, she's like, hey, can we hook up? I already love you. Why do we need to do that? Well, because no, but I already love you. Just imagine that. Us to others, others to us, God to us, just, I love. And it's what I am, not what I do. Please take a few centering breaths. Think for a moment in the day-to-day world, the various forms of I love you. Some of them are really nice, some of them are kind of contrived. Just think about that for a moment. All the various I love yous. Said I love you to people you no longer like. So that means love comes and goes. Love has variables. My parents said we love you because we're your parents, but they didn't act like they love me at all. Just look at all the uses and misuses of the concept. What we don't realize is that behind the limited forms of love, love is unlimited. So any form that seemed limited wasn't real love in the first place. I feel like I love my children. Yeah, but just try on the notion that even that has been limited and you're ready now to love them at a whole new level. I loved people in my past and then we fell out of love and we moved on. I want to love them again as God loves. See through the very fragile structure of human love. I love someone's body. They don't have a body. It's just an appearance. I love days when I make a lot more money. It's an illusion. What you really mean is you love being more prosperous, being more of God. So take this love concept to that level. Let the images of the world's version of love, let them pass for a moment and just center in now. God, I, what God is. Love, what love is. You, meaning all of us. A perfect love that surpasses understanding. A perfect love that is tranquil and peaceful. A perfect love that embraces and holds us all in it and never has let us go. But it allowed us to have free will to imagine what life would be like if we could go. And I still love you. The mother's perfect love. Look at the things we've done to ourselves and each other and how unaffected God's love is. And imagine that as this beautiful flow, waterfall of golden white light pouring upon us, just loving us, a mist, perfect love. Wow. And as you see that, gradually allow bodies to disappear into that love. There's no me and them, no colors, no genders, no nothing. Just we all dissolve and become part of that mist. Wow. It fills the room you're in. And it continues out to the neighbors you don't like. And it flows out to your exes. Anyone who pushes buttons, not just people you've known, but types of people. Be it political persuasion or whatever else. Just this perfect love. Everyone deserving. Everyone beyond the doing that irritated or hurt us to the being. Everyone being deserving. Oh, this is not something I decide. It's something I surrender to. And God's will be done. God's will be done. Think of any challenge in your life at this time, health, financial, relationship, communication, anything, bring it to this holy space. God's will be done for you. Say it to that thing. God's will be done, and let it dissipate into the mist. In me as it is in heaven. Give me this day all of your will for my abundance, my health, my vitality, my peace, my pleasure. Fill me up. And teach me to be as forgiving as you are, as loving as you are. Teach me to be comfortable, being in a state of bliss, even while I change tires on cars, deal with day-to-day issues of life. Be with me now and always, as you've always willed. Help me to forgive myself forever, edging you out, blocking you out. I say to myself, this is not God's will. It is not my will. So be gone. As for all other people, God wills that no soul shall perish or remain judged. And I would not go against God's will. Therefore, peace to everyone equally. Love and abundance. Abundance even to people who have taken from me financially. That'll just continue. If I don't will for you true abundance, because if they had that, they wouldn't take. Peace, peace to us all. And so it is. Take a moment to gradually reintegrate. Do your best when you come out of prayers and meditations, always take a moment to integrate between those two worlds. You go to this high place, try not to just thrust yourself down into the dense world. Try to bring the light with you and let it integrate it a bit. Just breathe it in a bit and feel it a bit in all your limbs and just choose to be with it right here. Okay? Tether to God and go in. Thank you, guys. Please stand for our closing. Linda May, what time? Yeah. Thank you. All right. Breathing in, centering into gratitude. We didn't do any songs today, so thanks for your patience on that. We didn't do songs because we started a few minutes late. So just breathing in and giving thanks. How perfect this is. The friendships, the trust. There's only one of us here. Is it an accident that even people online, as well as in this room, are all agreeing to be on the same page? God, how nice is that? There's a lot of places I could go right now and have the opposite. How is it today so many people are agreeing to let go and let God? And I'm one of them. This is infinitely powerful. Thank you, friends. Thank you for joining me and us, each of us together, for joining us in an absolute intention to be as God created us to be. Despite foibles and strange behaviors and thoughts and beliefs, I am as God created me, and I will to be the Christ on earth. The light of God surrounds us.
We are the light of God.
The love of God enfolds us.
We are the love of God.
The power of God protects us.
We are the power of God.
And the presence of God watches over us.
We are the presence of God.
Wherever we go, God is. I am. We are. And so it is. Thank you so much. Peace be with all of you.